feel like I barely even want to talk about this just because at this point it is so like disgustingly on brand for me and for you too actually, but it's also the only thing I've been doing and the only thing I've been thinking about. So over the past 10 days I have read the entirety of Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. And it's been one of those really great, like, immersive, like, disorientingly immersive reading experiences where I look back at the last week of my life and it's like, where did that go? How did I get sucked into this black hole where just all that time is just suddenly gone and, like, nothing happened in the last week except that I was reading a book? But also, so much has happened in the last week that I've been reading this book where, like, I feel like I've lived, like, years of a life and I've, like, gotten to know all these people and had all these, like, crazy big traumatic events happen to me and all this stuff going on that, how did that only happen in a week? It's crazy. And I don't feel like I've had, like, you know, that like I said, that great immersive, like, disorienting reading experience. I've had a lot of those, you know, like, I don't want to discount any of the great books I've read in the past however many years, but I don't think I've had one, like, quite this intense since I was a teenager reading, like, the actual Harry Potter for the first time. And I know you've already read this fanfiction. It, like, ended about a year ago and you were reading it as it was ending. And I didn't realize it was going to be the good. Like, I thought it was going to be amusing and just, like, based on, like, the concept, just, like, the gimmick that I had heard, I was interested in reading it, just like, oh, it's Harry Potter and he's a scientist or a rationalist, whatever. It's great. Like, I thought that was going to be funny and, like, that's what I've heard about, that, like, it was, like, an amusing thing and it's clever and witty, blah, blah, blah. But, like, no one mentioned to me that, like, it was so intense and the, like, emotional moments hit so hard and, like, the themes were so well done. I was not expecting this out of a goddamn fan fiction. And why didn't you tell me that? But also thank you for not telling me that, because I feel like every major critique I have of the Harry Potter series was kind of addressed through this, and I'm glad that I happened to not start reading this until we finished the podcast, because I think that would have put a damper on, like, talking about the podcast, because it was, or talking about the books on the podcast, because then everything that I would have had to say would have been like, oh, yep, and this guy already took care of it in the fanfiction, blah, 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 blah.